entire Piedmont Triad and everywhere you are. WXII 12 News at 5 starts now.
Happening right now on WXII 12 News at 5, tracking Andrea's fury. The first tropical storm of the season is being felt from Florida to here in the Carolinas, where flooding's been a problem all day. And our team coverage begins here in the Weather Center with our chief meteorologist, Lainey Pope, who's keeping a very close eye on the tropical storm and all that rain out there this evening. Lainey?
Yeah, there's a whole lot of rain well in advance of this storm system, and it's all pushing into the southeast. Now, the heaviest rains right now are taking place over Florida. That's where they've got the tornado threat, and they're just a few hours away from landfall. This storm system about 30 miles to the west-southwest of Cedar Key, Florida, likely to make landfall over the next few hours. You can see all of the moisture pushing well to the north. You actually see the center of this storm just offshore. At this point, you can see Interstate 10 there flooded with rains. They've had a few reports of tornadoes as well. It's moving to the northeast, picking up speed now at about 17 miles an hour. Still a tropical storm, but just below at hurricane status. Now, the forecast track has changed very little since yesterday. Still anticipating a track right along the South Carolina and North Carolina coast. Of course, if this moves a little farther inland, we'd be talking about a little bit more heavy rain in our wake. Now, we're still going to see sufficient rains from this and potentially too much rain. That's why we do have some flooding concerns out there. You can watch the track as it continues latter half of the weekend into early next week, of course, moving well away from our area. I mentioned the flood concerns. There's also tropical storm warnings that have been posted all the way along the North Carolina and South Carolina coast, just to the northeast to Norfolk. You also see the flood watches that are out. We've got a flood watch out for our mountain counties, flash flood watch out for the Piedmont Triad, as all of this moisture is pushing to the north. We're not technically seeing the outer bands. What we are seeing is a warm front that is lifting to the north. It's still rain, and we're going to see waves of rain pushing through here. Tremendous heavy tropical downpours, an inch an hour possible, and that will cause some flooding out there. Heaviest rains right now, well, we're over Stokes County and into Rockingham County. As far as the Triad goes, we're seeing most of the moisture kind of lifting to the north temporarily. There's your heavy pocket from Danbury over towards Stoneville, Madison, and Mayodan. Also a heavy pocket just north of 4085 there. Gibsonville, east of Greensboro, west of Burlington, and you can see another wave coming in from the south. So for this evening and into tomorrow, it's definitely going to be a soggy forecast. Our main threat from this is going to be flooding, ponding of water on roadways, heavy rain out there. There is also the potential for at least some isolated storms, so we'll be talking about that as well. With all of this water out there on the roads, let's check in with Chris to see how traffic is moving today.
Well, in Winston-Salem, 52 northbound is moving slow at 30 miles per hour. Take a look at our traffic camera. You're looking live right now, I-40 at US 29 in Greensboro. As you see, the roads are very wet. We have a few accidents peppered across the Triad. Make sure you drive safely and stay updated on Twitter at WXII. We have updates in a few minutes.
And you can track whatever weather comes our way right down to your neighborhood on your desktop. Just go to WXII12.com and check out the interactive radar feature there in our weather section. As Lainey told you, Andrea is gaining strength and speed as she barrels towards Florida's west coast. In Gulfport, residents there are dealing with heavy rain and high winds and flooding, causing the closure of a lot of streets there in Florida. Even businesses are shut down right now. And the National Weather Service has confirmed 3 tornadoes touched down as a result of this tropical storm. And for more on that angle of the story, we go to Randy Gyllenhaal. He's with our sister station WPBF, and he's in Loxahatchee, Florida.
Well, the center of Tropical Storm Andrea is hundreds of miles from Palm Beach County, Florida, but the outer bands of the storm did spawn some tornadoes here in Loxahatchee. Let me show you some of the damage. That is an upside-down boat that was flipped over during an early morning tornado. We don't yet know how strong it was, but it did do quite a bit of damage here. If we walk over this way down the neighborhood, this is a transformer box that completely blew up during this tornado. Residents are telling us they were sheltering inside of their bathrooms for cover, sounding like a freight train coming through as it kind of knocked down a lot of the trees in this area. So now the cleanup is underway here. A lot of people trying to remove all this debris with chainsaws, wheelbarrows. It's a lot of volunteers out here trying to help out their neighbors. The damage from this tornado was pretty localized. It just followed a straight path through about 5 or 6 blocks here in town. Again, that storm, the center of this storm is so far away, but it is causing problems all the way here on Florida's east coast. We are seeing some reports of flooding as well, but the main problem here in the town of Loxahatchee is all this tornado damage from the storm that ripped through. We're in Loxahatchee. I'm Randy Gyllenhaal. Back to you.
And as Laney told us, all that moisture in the air right now is giving the Piedmont quite a soaking. This is some video from the Pine Valley Road and Wellington Road area in Winston-Salem. Near Forsyth Country Club, as you can see, a lot of high water rolling through that area. And here's some video from just a couple of hours ago at Hathaway Park in Winston-Salem. People who live in that area have already been impacted by the heavy rain that was dumped there this afternoon.
I wasn't expecting it to be this bad, although we saw on the news this morning that we was going to have floods and flash floods. So we got quite a bit, probably about 2.5, 3 feet deep right there in that parking lot.
Robbie Giles tells us he's lived in that house for 2 years, and this is the second time he's been flooded. More of the same in Surrey County. This local photo of the Big Elkin Creek turned into a waterfall was sent to us by Matt Brown. And some more video just coming into the newsroom. Our crews there on the scene tell us that the roads are closed in the Memorial Park Drive area of Elkin. High water there, a big concern right now. And check out this local photo of the rising Yadkin River. A lot of water, and it is really muddy right now with all that runoff. Stephanie Brzezinski continues our Tracking the Tropics team coverage from Yadkin County.
It was just last week when this portion of Lottie B Road in Yadkin County washed away. Now emergency officials here are keeping a close eye on Tropical Storm Andrea as it makes its way up the east coast towards North Carolina. As gray skies and rains approached Yadkin County Thursday afternoon, the National Weather Service placed the area under a flood watch until 9 p.m. Emergency workers here are prepared for the worst, but hoping for the best. They're encouraging folks to stay off the roads once the heavy rains start to fall and to have emergency supplies available in case of power outages. Officials here are also tracking flood-prone areas like low-lying farmland near the Yadkin River.
In the event that this is a countywide disaster, it may take us a little while to be able to reach everybody. So if you can take care of yourself, we'll get to you just as soon as we can get the roads cleared and get to you.
Officials also add that Yadkin County tends to see a lot of water runoff from the mountains, so they're hoping something like this doesn't happen again within the next 24 hours. I'm Stephanie Brzezinski, WXII 12 News.
Thank you, Stephanie. And all of us here at WXII 12 News will bring you continuing coverage as we track Tropical Storm Andrea moving up the coast. Stay with us on the air, on the web, and on your mobile device. And a programming note, because of Andrea and all that rain, we're extending our WXII 12 morning show. So join Kim, Nicole, Austin, and Busta, as well as our team of reporters at 4 a.m. tomorrow morning, a half hour early, as we brace for the impact of the storm and what it will do here in the Piedmont Triad. In other news, we're following a developing story tonight. UNC basketball star and Greensboro native P.J. Hairston has been arrested and charged for marijuana possession. Officers in Durham stopped Hairston and 2 other men during a license check last night. Hairston was also charged with driving without a license. University has not yet released a statement. New at 5 o'clock tonight, parents and teachers in Guilford County are asking for more money when it comes to the education of their children. Bill O'Neill is live in Greensboro. He has that story for us. Bill?
Cam, 3 dozen protesters outside of the old courthouse on West Market Street, an even larger number inside the building waiting for the county commission meeting tonight. They're going to pick up the budget. These folks say that they are being dealt a double blow. The fact that the state legislature is taking money away from education. Mo Green here in town, the superintendent, is asking for a slight increase from county commissioners this year. And county commissioners, which are now under control of the Republican Party, have indicated that there is no more money and that they will not raise taxes, putting the educators, in this case parents as well as teachers and students and administrators, in a pretty tough spot. Asking for more money, county commissioners say there is no more money to be had. The meeting tonight at 5:30, if you care to come out and attend, it's going to be probably a standing room only crowd, Cam. There's a lot of folks here wanting to see what county commissioners will do tonight. Back to you.
All right, story will continue to follow. Bill O'Neill live in Greensboro. President Obama was in North Carolina today. The president was visiting a middle school in Mooresville. The students and faculty there are nationally recognized for that school's cutting-edge curriculum that promotes digital learning. The president says he wants 99% of American students connected to super-fast internet within 5 years.
In a country where we expect free Wi-Fi with our coffee, why shouldn't we have it in our schools? Right?
The president went on to say that the nation must give all students the tools needed to go as far as their hard work and ambition will take them. And Governor Pat McCrory was in the Triad today. Rob Woo's in Greensboro tonight with more on the reason behind the governor's visit.
Guys, Governor Pat McCrory back in the Guilford County area for the second time in 2 days, bringing more good manufacturing news. This time we're at Columbiana High Tech. They're about to double their workload and add 25% to their work staff.
The company makes equipment that stores and transports radioactive material as well as spent fuel from nuclear power plants. Their manufacturing facility set to double in size later this year because of new orders for storage canisters, an expansion that comes with 40 to 50 new jobs of various skill levels. It's the kind of job the company says this country desperately needs. Compared to what's happening in other parts of the world, especially Asia, we're falling behind.
These countries are spending billions of dollars on facilities and equipment and training of their people. We have to catch up. We have to bring work back into this country, or we're going to be importing everything we use.
The company expects to have about 100 employees by the middle of the year. I'm Rob Wu, WXII 12 News.
The state chapter of the NAACP is making several stops in the Triad tonight. This is all part of the organization's Forward Together movement to discuss what it calls, quote, a Tea Party-backed extremist force that has hijacked the General Assembly, end quote. WXII 12 News caught up with organizers at an event that was held this morning in Mocksville.
We're going around, we're working together. Black, white, Latino, Native American people are coming together to say enough is enough.
3 other meetings are planned for this evening in Winston-Salem, Greensboro, and Asheboro. Right now, a man is in custody charged in a Surrey County double shooting. Michael McNeil, also known as Cherokee, is accused of shooting 2 men Wednesday on Eleanor Avenue in the Flat Rock community. 2 victims are in stable condition. Investigators say that McNeil shot the men after an argument that stemmed from an incident years ago. Crews are working to repair a utility pole in High Point. That's because a tractor trailer hit it. This happened just after 10:30 this morning on Old Thomasville Road. We're told that the pole had to be replaced, and crews have since cleared the scene. Some local students starting their summer off right. More on their big field trip to the nation's capital and all the work that went into that journey. Also, 25 years and going strong. We'll find out how many families this chapter of Habitat for Humanity has helped provide a home.
How do you feel about your chances about winning?
I feel pretty good.
A lip-smacking good time is here. We have more coming up on this year's Rib Fest. And stay with us as we continue to cover Tropical Storm Andrea.
And a lot of heavy rain to the Florida coast. We're getting our share of rain as well. We'll talk about just how much more rain you can expect and when we'll see some sunshine coming up.